Welcome to the forecast. To my right, we have Alex himself. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
Alex, you wearing glasses? Sunglasses?
I am not, but I have grown a pretty sweet beard, mustache.
Okay. And to my left, we have Garrett Walls. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Garrett, 2 R's, 2 T's, correct?
That's correct. There's nothing odd about me.
Don't even know what that means. DC Comics, we're telling you about the comics coming out for February 14th, 2018. They call that Valentine's Day. Here's your Valentine's gift to yourself. Buy yourself some comics. DC Comics is going to bring you some comics called Action Comics. $9.97. That is getting close to that 1,000. We're getting very close, boys. This is Dan Jurgens, Will Conrad. Booster Shot Part 5. Part 5. How long is this arc going to be?
Yeah, it's already on Part 5.
How's it been, Garrett?
It's been pretty good. I'm 1 issue behind now. And the issue I just read, I think you guys have poisoned my mind because whenever Brett Booth draws a comic, I instantly don't like it as much as I used to just be fine with it. So now it bugged me. It irritated me. So it took me out of it. But I thought the story was still good, but the art suffered the whole book because of your brainwashing of me.
I don't think he did the art.
Not brainwashing. It's just telling you straight up. It's not nearly as good.
Wasn't Will Conrad doing the art?
No, 2 issues ago.
Oh, 2 issues ago. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, but the whole arc itself has been pretty decent. It's more like Clark and Booster Gold went back in time, and now they're dealing with the ramifications of doing that. And yeah, it's been fun. I mean, you get Superman dealing with Superman-ish things in his world and whatnot, and Booster Gold is kind of like the person breaking through the fourth wall, being like, "Holy shit, you have to deal with this." So it's been funny. I think Booster Gold's a great hero.
I don't know if I'm a Booster Gold fan. I know I'm not, but I've not enjoyed this arc that I may just drop it until 1,000.
No, you won't.
I think I will, because I don't give two craps about Booster Gold, and if we're still on another issue of...
This is the conclusion.
Is this the actual end of this one, finally? Because it's gotten old.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything about being the conclusion.
It does not, but I would guess it is.
I would imagine maybe one more, and then you have a 2-issue arc before the 1,000. No, one more, and then you would have only 1 issue. Probably just a single issue. Yeah. That's probably what they'll do. Unless you got 2 more, and then you run up to the 1,000. So I guess you have to look ahead and see what they got. But let's move on here. Dark Knights. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because to be fair, if it's going to be another 3 issues of this, I'm just going to drop it until 1,000.
Dark Knights Rising. The Wild Hunt #1. This is Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Joshua Williamson, and Grant Morrison. And Grant Morrison, they named him twice. He's so good. Howard Porter, Jorge Jimenez. Cover and art by Doug Mankey continued from the pages of the best-selling Dark Knights Metal. So the Knights is different. I was looking at that for a second. I was like, I thought it wasn't with a K. The Dark Knights ride through the farthest reaches of the multiverse to track down the unlikeliest of teams. The Flash, Cyborg, Raven, and Detective Chimp. The mission: keep these heroes from completing their desperate quest to save all of existence. Plus, Challenger's Mountain crackles, a dark energy that will release an army of the world's worst nightmares into the streets of Gotham City. This one-shot will also answer the question, where are the Metal Men? And who is the latest addition to the team? It's a $4.99, so I'm expecting it to be a little bit bigger. This is Grant Morrison's return to the DC universe ever since Multiversity. He's been gone.
I had to add that. It was totally necessary.
Apologize if you have no hearing left.
You don't need it. Grant Morrison's back, baby.
Multiversity, what was that, 2 years ago, Garrett?
Yeah.
About
2 years.
I was actually organizing some comics. I know that's a foreign thing for you guys to hear that I'm doing, but
throwing them into a corner of your room is not organized.
Okay, so I wasn't organizing them. I was putting them in boxes. But I found a couple of Multiversities, and I was looking through them, and brings back good memories. That was a good little good story there.
Yeah.
And now we have, like, Scott likes to go back and take stuff, usually farther back in the past, but he went back to Multiversity, and we know that he talked to Grant about it because it was kind of his story and kind of getting ideas from him. And during that process, Grant Morrison's like, can I come back and write something? And that's what this is. So now we're going to get this, and then he's going to be writing one of these books for the New Age of Heroes. Which one? Do you remember which one, Garrett?
I haven't heard which one he's doing. It must be on like a second wave or something.
Oh, no, it's one of the first ones.
I don't think so. I mean, Scott Snyder?
No, Grant Morrison. He's writing one of them.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up here in a second.
I've looked at all the creative teams. There's no way.
I would think if he was writing it, you guys would remember what the title was.
Yeah, Scott Snyder's doing the new Challengers book.
You would think so, Alex, but I didn't remember this was coming out, so I just saw it right now. So
that's depressing. It was even on our list for reading this week. So
is it? Oh, okay.
Oh,
what do you think of this book? Obviously, a couple of years from Grant Morrison. He's been off doing, making Happy for TV. Also, being the editor-in-chief over at Heavy Metal. What do you think?
I'm really excited, but I feel like he's only going to be doing like 6 pages. Like, there's too many writers and too many artists. I don't think he's going to be doing a big chunk of this book. So I bet, if anything, he's either doing... I think he's going to be doing that metal backup, like Where Are the Metal Men. I think that'll be all him. But that's just my speculation. I don't know for sure. But I feel like he's not going to be doing the biggest chunk of the story. He's just going to write some of it.
Yeah, I think they're all just like, anthology. It's like an anthology book. So he's just doing one part of it.
Right.
Oh, by the way, the book that Grant Morrison's writing for the New Age of Heroes, he's trading on and off arcs with Dan Dio on Sideways. So he's doing Sideways.
Oh, so that's not okay. Technically, he is first wave then, but it was not announced that he was doing it until.
Yeah, it was. I just looked at an article from May.
From May?
Yeah,
past May.
They announced it at the same time because they announced this book, and then they announced he's going to be part of that too because he wrote this, and because that leads to this. This leads to the New Age of Heroes. He was going to write a book for that too, and that was Sideways.
I had no idea. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I look forward to it. Grant Morrison, one of my favorite writers, and looking forward to what he's going to bring to the table. Alex, you're not really a Grant Morrison guy. I don't think there's really anything that I would say that you like by him. I mean, love by him. I'm sure you like something by him, but what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. Your whole description of it kind of was like, oh, it sounds okay, but I don't want to get too hyped for it. You guys only speak such good things about Grant Morrison, and he's been kind of a hit or miss kind of writer for me. So we'll see. But again, he may only be writing 3 pages of those books, so who knows?
He's on there twice.
But when it comes to the Dark Knights, like one-shot things, I think those are excellent. So it could be pretty good.
Who knows, guys? This could be the return of Batman Zur and R. What?
Possible they're going to be crossing other dimensions. He might show up.
Yeah,
if Grant's writing that first story, you guarantee he shows up.
Oh, God. That'd be so amazing.
Detective Comics 974. This is James Tynion IV. Jesus Moreno. And Night's Fall. Can Tim Drake piece his dream back together after Batwoman's fatal decision, or will the Gotham Knights go their separate ways? Alex, how's Detective Comics been?
I think I am 1 issue behind and the annual behind. I'm finding Detective, it's good, but it really hasn't been as, I don't know if the right words would be. I'm not as impressed with it. That's all I need to say. It's been good. It was started out great. And right now since Tim Drake's been back, it's been kind of slow. And I was hoping with his return, this book would be even more excellent than it had already been. It hasn't.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like, it's a book, basically, you're turning this team into a family, is what it appears, But I feel like we're doing the same storylines, like, oh, the family's uniting, but one of them's pissed off, and then they're going to work on that character's arc. They fix that character's arc, and then there's another person that's bitching, and then so on and so forth. And it's like, okay, you have Tim Drake back. He's alive. Like, what are we going to do next? Like, we're still dealing with shit that they were dealing with when Tim was gone. You have 2 of the villains that have taken over since Tim left that are now working together to work out against the Gotham Knights, I guess, as they're called. So, I don't know. I thought, I'm ready for something new because it's getting fatiguing just reading the same, like, issues every single book, like, same storyline. Like, Stephanie's pissed at the whole team, and it's a lot of whining, and it's like, hey, you're the freaking Bat team, like, get your shit together, do the mission, move on.
Yeah.
Flash number 40. This is Perfect Storm Part 2. Joshua Williamson. Carmine Di Gitamento. Garrett, what do you think? Perfect Storm. You keep up with the Flash here?
I
know you weren't a fan of Grodd. This is still Grodd in this story. So what do you think?
So I read part 1 and I read the annual, so I'm all caught up on the Flash. I thought part 1 of this storyline was great. Up until I totally forgot Grodd was going to be in this series, and I saw Grodd, and I was like, fuck. But the way he comes in is pretty badass, and like I think the way that Williams is handling this story, I think it'll be pretty good for part 2. And if you read that annual gets me so amped for, I think it's May when the Flash War starts, which I thought was a little early to do a prelude, but whatever. But super excited for that coming up. So how this gets us there, I'm pumped. Let's go.
So are you saying Flash has actually stepped its game back up to what it used to be?
Yeah, I would say so. That part 1 was, I mean, first off, it was Carmine Giandomenico, whatever. Yes. Because the way that the issue ends, or like, if you've read 38, it leads into the part 1 of this story, and the part 1 is like, it's done with all the filler crap. Like, we're done with it. We're on to the main storyline. So I think when there's no filler, this book's great. So 39 was great. I'm expecting this issue to be great. The annual was great. So I think finally, whatever time needed to lapse before we get to the good stuff, it's here. So.
That's actually is pretty early for a prelude. I think it's because they want to make 50 the start of the Flash Wars, but it's like just start it when you're ready for it. Don't wait for like that landmark issue just because you want to do something big then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's actually when it starts, because if it doesn't start till May's when it will hit the 50th, because same thing with Batman's on 40 and it'll hit 50 in May too. So I think they're waiting for, like, they're ramping up these kind of Batman, we're having the Catwoman Batman wedding. We're having Flash Wars and Flash and 50. So they're making 50 all the starts of these, the kind of significant moments. But like you said, why do a prelude at all and then go to a different story? So
unless I get a bunch of Easter eggs up until May.
You might. I mean, if they build it, then that's a good way to do it, yeah. Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps number 38. This is Robert Venditti. Ethan Van Scriver. This is Zod's Will Part 2. I know I just asked you about a book here, but I do know you were excited about the last issue of this, so I was curious. Zod, Green Lanterns, what do you think?
See, I didn't read. I'm all caught up. I still have to read part 1.
Oh, I thought you read it.
Nope, I didn't like the controller's issue, like arc, until like the second half, and I thought it's some of the best Hal Jordan Green Lantern Corps I've ever read.
Yeah.
So I think it's back on track. This book is so good. And I don't know, I guess I didn't read part 1. You'll have to give some insight on that, but I'm kind of hating how Zod's almost in every book just as much as like Wolverine is on every Avengers team. So it's starting to get old that Zod's the main villain on a lot of stories.
Alex, did you read part 1?
No, I am caught up until the last issue. Yeah, I like the first half of the Controller's arc. Then the second half where the Guardians come. But who cares? I don't care, so that's all that matters.
We didn't like the 4 Corpsemen? That was the most badass issue of all time.
I like them, but I don't know.
That was the second to last issue of that arc, and it was so good.
Hey, you hate other books for stupid reasons. I can hate this book for a reason that I don't care about the Controllers. So
I know, but you love that team of heroes, so I thought that would have been like, when I was reading that, I was like, oh, Alex and Marvin are going to love this issue.
I liked the Corps when they were fighting, but then when they got into the Guardians, a little bit of, and they weren't in it a lot, but what they were in, I was like, I don't need that. I don't need this. Oh, we held hands and got power back together. Who cares? I want to see some Green Lantern just murder these Controllers and be done with it. Anyway. I don't mind that Zod's showing up if he's actually a good villain for this arc. If it's going to lead into like Sinestro coming back, or he finds Sinestro and brings him back, great. But I'm guessing it probably won't be. Maybe you're right. Probably is just a filler bad guy.
I thought Sinestro was already back.
He's alive.
Yeah.
But
the Green Lantern Corps doesn't know that yet.
Yeah.
No, okay. Mr. Miracle Director's Cut number 1. I just want to bring this up quick. Tom King, Mitch Gerads, obviously. This is the director's cut, so it'll be the comic, black and white also, And then we have 8 pages of story retelling of Mr. Miracle's. Oh, that's new. Plus, King has written a brand new 8-page story retelling of Mr. Miracle's origin, drawn by Mike Norton, available for the first time. So that'd be something. Actually, I've never seen them do director's cut where they have a new comic in it. Well, that's pretty interesting. I was going to say originally that this normally would be something I would pick up because I like picking up director's cuts, but we have that Wild Hunt coming out, which is already $5. So I don't know if I can afford like another big book like this. But that actually interests me that they're going to write, a retelling of his origin. So we'll see. We'll look at it. Ragman number 5 of 6. Gary, you still getting Ragman?
No, me and Alex dropped it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Well, there you go. Red Hood and the Outlaws number 19. This is sorry, I clicked on Ragman. You just said you weren't getting that book, but somehow I clicked on it. Red Hood and the Outlaws number 19. This is Scott Lobdell. Marcio Takara. This is date night by day. Artemis and Red Hood are teammates, but tonight they're going out on their first date. Hey, a little Valentine's issue for Red Hood. How's Red Hood been, Alex?
Good. Are you caught up on 18?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it good?
It was really good.
Okay. That tells you I haven't read it yet. But I know last time we talked about Red Hood that who was the bad guy? Who was the girl?
The girl?
Yeah, it was the bad woman who was on the cover. I can't remember what her name was. Anyway, you had said that normally that character is not a very strong character.
Oh, the Hive Queen.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, she was so...
You saying that she may not be that good?
She was so infantile.
It made me weird not to read
she
it.
wasn't so infantile in that issue. She shouldn't have been on the cover. She was in there for sorry, spoiler. She's in there for 8 pages.
I honestly, I put it on the bottom of my stack going, Garrett said this may be, just going by what you had said, may be a weak issue. I was like, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, there's a reason I don't like that character, but it was still a great issue. I mean, that was the first couple pages, and then you get to the actual story again. So it's what a great, just a great book. I love it. Every time it comes out, I just get so excited. I know Dexter Soy's not doing the art, but they're filling artists that I think have been doing a great job. This is the team the team that Red Hood should have been with from the beginning. I know we liked him with Starfire and Arsenal, but this is a way better team up, I feel.
This actually seems like a family dynamic where whenever he was with Corey and he was with Arsenal, it just seemed like siblings hanging out.
Yeah.
And this actually feels like and I guess that's a family, but this actually seems like Artemis and Red Hood, they care so much about Bizarro that when he wasn't a genius, all they wanted to do was take care of him.
There's some pretty hilarious pup panels in that issue that you missed. Oh yeah. So I tell you what, DC, you make a Bizarro pup, I'm buying it. It's in. I get it. It's all mine.
You guys giving away spoilers here? I'm only in that first volume still.
Dude, I'm surprised you didn't decide to go back and just not go back, but start out from where you left off at the last novel. 2
came out 4 weeks ago, so it's not like it's been out for a while. I mean, 3-4 weeks, I guess, is a little bit, but I read that first one 2-3 months ago, so I was still waiting for that one to come out, and it did come out. So actually, maybe I'm thinking of the third one, maybe 3 years out. I have to check and see, but I'm not sure.
Catch up.
Scooby book. Apocalypse number 22. This is Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, and Ron Wagner, Andy Owen, Scott Collins. Garrett, how's the Apocalypse going?
It's so good. I just caught up on it. There's a reason I love this book. I mean, all the characters are the same that from the cartoon. It's just they're put in a different situation with this being it's more like a monster apocalypse. It's not a zombie apocalypse, but they turn into monsters the same way that zombies turn into humans turn into zombies. But it's a really fun story. But the only thing I don't like is lately they've added this stupid secret squirrel comic at the back. It's like a mini. It's 4 to 5 pages, and I'm like, it's kind of bullshit that this is taking a lot of my pages away. But the story I do get, I love it. There's a lot of suspense. There's a lot of these characters, because how it starts, it is a reboot for them in a way that they didn't know each other before the series started. So at this point, they're just finally starting to hit their what do you call it? hitting their stride. There you go. Hitting their stride for like working together as a group. So it's been great.
Shade Changing Girl, Wonder Woman Special #1. This is Cecil Castellucci and Magdalene Visaggio, America Adolfo and Sunny Liu. Milk Wars Part 3. Shade has been split into multiple parts, each representing a different mood, all in service of the perfect and beautiful Wonder Wife. But Happy Shade is starting to sense that not all is right in Wonderland, and she finds something strange staring back at her on the other side of the looking glass. Plus, Part 3 of Eternity Girl backup story. This is Part 3 of Milk Wars. You said you guys enjoyed #2 more, right?
Loved issue 2, yeah.
We didn't talk about it on the show. We did read it for the show, but we ran out of time. I thought it wasn't bad. I do enjoy 1 more, though, but I know you guys enjoyed 2 more. So I'm very curious what we're going to get with this issue. Are we going to get more of issue 1 or are we going to get more of issue 2? I actually was just looking up, and that's the reason why it sounds like I'm buying time, because I am. Looking up these writers, because I've never seen them on a book before, and it looks like they are they've written comics before, but they are pretty new writers. They're both so I'm interested to see, because I don't know what to expect, because I don't know who these writers are. So I guess we'll see what we get. Do we get the weird kind of issue 1, or do we get I know Shade the Changing Girl is kind of weird on her own anyway, so are we going to get that weirdness, or are we going to get the kind of more straightforward story? But I think if there's something to be said, I know you guys didn't enjoy issue 1 as much as I did, but you guys did too. I think if anything, at least each issue is trying to do something different. Is trying to do something that's not a standard event, that's not a standard, story that we're going to get. It's Milk Wars. Obviously, the concept itself is kind of crazy. So at least it's taking the concept and it's trying to do something different with it. So if that interests you at all, pick up that up. We're going to talk about that book this week? Spoilers?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not on our list.
Sideways #1. This is Dan DiDio, Justin Jordan, and Kenneth Rocafort. This is the book we were just talking about. Grant Morrison will come in one day. During the events of Dark Knight's Metal, high school junior Derek James accidentally fell through a rift in the dark matter dimension. Now, as Sideways, he can create rifts in midair to leap through dimensions at will. But with that much power comes great liability, and cracks are starting to form in the fabric of space-time continuum. Now, Garrett made a little observation on the podcast about 3-4 weeks ago that this basically is Spider-Man, which, obviously they're going for that with that line, great power comes great liability. Have you guys seen the preview for this book in the back of the other issues? This book looks so great.
Oh, it looks so good.
It looks so good art-wise. Obviously, Rockford we're all familiar with. He does good work. Me from Ultimates, you guys from Red Hood. No, not Red Hood. Yeah, he did Red Hood. The 52 one, right? Is that right, Alex?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he did.
He did?
Yeah, I think he did. No
way. All the time.
Because we all got Ultimates. That's how I know him.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he did Red Hood. I'll look it up.
He did Red Hood and the Outlaws for a long time, too.
Gary, what do you think of Sideways?
Really? I don't remember that. But
I'm super excited. I read the preview in the back of those issues, and it does seem a lot like Spider-Man, but there was enough different that I wasn't being it's a direct copy, especially when you're bringing in, there's going to be I feel like it's Spider-Man mixed with the Speed Force kind of thing, because there's going to be there's a god of shattered dimensions, basically, that's going to be in the book. So I think that's pretty cool. But, he's quippy, he's funny, so I think we're going to get some of that humor. I am a little nervous, and hopefully I don't get smited by DC for saying this, but, obviously Dan DiDio, I don't think he's the greatest writer on the planet, but I know Justin Jordan's writing, and I like Justin Jordan's writing. I think he can do it on his own just fine. So I hope that whatever Dan DiDio's input is, or whatever he's adding to the story, that it doesn't take away from the story.
It might just be also a story by Dan DiDio and Justin Jordan. Justin Jordan might be doing the script, so we won't know until we get that issue.
And that's what I'm hoping for. And again, don't smite me, DC, but yeah, Dan DiDio. I think everything else, my excitement's a 9 out of 10. The 1 out of 10 is Dan DiDio being a part of this book.
He did a Phantom Stranger book, which wasn't bad, and also I think he did that one issue of Commandia that wasn't horrible, but it wasn't like the best issue of that offsite.
I remember that Christmas annual where he was doing that.
I understand that, but that's like
wizard woo woo.
My recent memory, that's 1 out of 3 things. So like he's got a good shot at making this okay. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah.
I didn't read the back of the stuff. To be fair, I don't look at these previews because I'm going to buy the book, so I don't need the preview.
You know what? Normally I'm with you, but for this, the art jumped out for me so much that I couldn't like skip it. Like I looked through it. I didn't read the words. I just looked at the art, and the art looks great. So.
I saw the one page where it looked like he was in the city, and you saw the landscape. It looked good. I mean, his art always looks great. But I chose not to read into it or look at it too much. I am excited for this book. I've actually been excited for most of the newer ones coming out, but I'm also kind of just on the. I don't know what to expect, and I don't look at solicits, so I'm along for the ride. And it's one of those books that I'm sure will make an appearance on this week's show, so we can hear what I feel like. I don't know what to tell you. Am I excited? Meh. Am I not excited? Meh. We'll just see what happens.
Rockefort did Red Hood and the Outlaws. In New 52, he did the first 2 volumes. So,
really, man, I guess it's been a long time since I've read them, but I don't remember that.
Titans. Go ahead.
I'd say that's where I first saw his art ever was on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you used to gloat about his art in that, Alex. At least how I knew about him. And then I read.
I'm sure I did because I know he did the cover at least.
Yeah,
but I don't remember the inside looking like that.
It says it is. I don't know. I just looked it up.
Don't you remember that first time you see Coriander?
Starfire.
Yeah, Starfire. That's him. He drew that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess the hair, her fiery hair, does have that
metallic
Rockefort. That esque that he always puts on things. So okay, it's good.
Titans number 20. This is Dan Abnett, Paul Peltier, Andrew Hennessy. This is Titans Apart Part 1. After the Titans are forced into hiatus by the Justice League, Roy Harper, a.k.a. Arsenal, finds himself without a team, but not without a purpose, as he investigates the rise of a dangerous new drug running rampant in the streets of New York City. Garrett, how's Titans going? Also, is that are they talking about Stardust?
I dropped that like 3 months ago.
Oh, really? I think it happens every time in this show that comes up. I thought, okay, never mind.
So we both get Teen Titans. None of us get Titans.
But do you think it's Stardust? You didn't answer my question.
I don't know.
Wildstorm, wait, yes, and Wildstorm, Michael Cray, number 5. This is Brian Hill and Stephen Harris and Dexter Vines. This is Michael Cray. Who's he going against now? Oh yeah, Aquaman or Aqua Bastard.
Arthur
Curry. As Michael Cray continues to learn about powers given to him by his tumor. Did we establish it was a tumor? When did we establish his tumor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Wildstorm itself.
Oh, okay. He uses them to go after Tarlane's new target, a genetic scientist that spliced himself with the DNA of aquatic predators. Arthur Curry. But when Cray dives into the depths to defeat this sea monster, will his powers give him the advantage or grow out of his control? What do you think, Garrett? I know you were kind of new to this. Him versus Aquaman?
Well, I mean, I've been liking this book, but I haven't been loving it. So, I don't know. When I saw Aquaman at the end, I was like, oh, sea creature. Like, okay, what's he going to do? Just, like, erase his gills and he just, like, can't breathe? Like, I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes, but I'm not. My excitement level is kind of, like, mediocre.
What do you mean erase his gills? That's not his powers.
He can make things go disappear.
He blows them up.
It.
Huh?
He blows stuff up with his hands.
If he touches his gills, he's going to blow his head off. So,
but it's like that gun disappears. You don't see it explode. It just
disappears.
It
explodes. It like disintegrates.
I tell you what,
arm didn't explode when he cut off that guy's arm.
Alex, what do you think?
I am excited for this issue. Like when the Green Arrow first arc or first 2 issues. Yeah, okay, that was good. It was human versus human, who then surprisingly is not human. Then you get Barry Allen. It's like, oh, this is gonna be good. And it turns out Barry Allen's fucking crazy. And then
didn't know how to control his powers, and he was just fucking up all over the place. So,
and I am so excited. I'm hoping that Arthur Curry is just a ridiculous threat. Like he's had time to master hunting and the swimming and just taking obviously Michael Crichton, unless he's got another power I don't know of, can't breathe underwater. I just want Arthur, because this would scare the shit out of me. I think that's why I'm so excited for this issue, is this is going to be scary on 2 levels. 1, it's evil Aquaman. 2, I'm not a very strong swimmer. I would drown. And no one can hear you scream in the water.
It's going to be like Creature of the Black Lagoon. Very scary. I'm also with you, Alex. You know I fear the sea. So I am in the way he looked in the end of the last issue, even for me too, I was like, and I think maybe we might get a little horror. I mean, you look at that cover, it's kind of dark anyway. So like, I think we might be going to the depths of the sea and getting a little scare on. So we'll see. Wonder Woman number 40, this is James Robinson, Emanuela Lupiciano, Ray McCarthy, Swan Song finale. Alex, I believe you're the last one on this book. What do you think about the finale? Looking forward to it?
I haven't read the last one. I'll probably get it just to at least finish this arc, but I may just drop this book because I don't think I'm looking forward to it anymore, and I really like Aquaman. I really like Wonder Woman, but I think I'm getting in that point where it's not doing it for me. So I'll finish this arc out.
Here's what you got to think about. Are they doing anything for character development for Wonder Woman in this book?
The only character building they're doing is adding a brother that no one wanted.
You're right. Not worth it.
So
boring.
So yes, character development, yes. Is it worthwhile character development? No.
But is it Diana herself? No. So it should be called Wonder Woman's brother, not Wonder Woman.
IDW Publishing, this is Goosebumps Monster at Midnight number 3. This is Jeremy Lampert and Chris.
Holy shit.
Fangilio. Yeah, there's no IDW books this week either. What do you think, Garrett? You've been getting this Goosebumps book. How's it been going?
It's been awesome. It's been fun. Like, I read issue 2 a couple days ago. You get a lot of the Goosebumps like favorites. You get like Slappy. You get the main. He doesn't really have a name, but like the Bones guy, like the skeleton guy. You get the Horrorland creatures. I mean, there's so many Easter eggs. Like, you know, obviously they're in Horrorland right now. Well, I guess that's not obviously, but I mean, in the book they do go to Horrorland, and they do like the coffin ride, like in the TV show and the books and things like that. So it's very nostalgic, and if you're a Goosebumps fan, there's a lot of Easter eggs in each issue. So I've definitely always been getting the variant covers because it's usually got another Easter egg on there. So I like the fact that like this is the 3rd issue of the arc, the final one, and then the next series it'll be a brand new storyline with a new title, and I kind of like that's going to be like basically a Goosebumps book, but they'll be separate titles. So it's a fun series.
Image Comics, this is Angelic number 6, the end of a story arc. Simon Spurter and Casper, I'm sorry, Casper, I can never say your name. I'm never going to attempt it. Airs and Graces, part 6. Alex, how's this story been going?
You know, it's actually not too bad. We left off last issue with a little manatee robot guy gets thrown off the edge from the flying monkeys. And the girl monk is yelling at the other monkeys to not throw them. Then they chuck them off the edge, and that's how it ended. So either we will find manatee squished on the ground, or she's going to break free and save the manatee robot. And then I don't know where this book is going to go. Simon Spurrier last time wrote Cry Havoc, which was only 6 issues long. So I'm surprised that this is at least the end of the first arc. I'd be surprised to see it actually continue on. So the art is fantastic. Looks so good. Story, it's a little weird to read, but once you get used to how it's written and how the language is said, it's a good book.
Alex, would you say, I remember them before the series started, and I think we explained on the show that they mean for this series to be all ages. Anybody can read it. That there's some mature stuff, but not enough that kids would understand what's going on. And there's stuff for kids in here, too. Is that whole true 6 issues in?
You know, it really does. Like, the artwork really is kind of, it's kid-friendly. The colors are great. As an adult, even the adult things, I'm like, oh, there's some politics in here. I take it or leave it. But when the fun stuff happens, or when the big battles happen, is just so much fun to read, and it's easy to read. There's no cursing, there's no nothing. It's just great art, great colors, and other than how the girl monkey speaks, it's easy to read.
Black Monday Murders number 8. This is Jonathan Hickman. Tom Coker, end of the story arc. Unionized labor. The unholy alliance of money and law is formed. Dumas and Rhea meet again. Wasn't this solicited like 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
And what's a possibility that it comes out tomorrow?
I think it's going to come out because it's already on. I mean, the day before, I think it'll come out. I mean, okay. I'm saying it has been there before. But
I think we did talk about it on the show last time. And then, like, the last second, they were like, oh, no, it's not coming out. I'll have to go back and listen, but I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the show, like the forecast, that we saw it on the list.
This cover looks familiar.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like a month ago.
That's kind of bullshit. It's the end of the story arc. I'm like, the end? Seems like a new arc. It should be a new arc.
So now, now there's going to be a planned break, obviously. But we're going to talk about spoilers again. We are talking about this book in this week's show, correct?
Yes.
I have no clue what's going on. I don't remember. So
last time I remember was the detective and the professor went to hell or something like that and had a meeting with the guy, and then the evil bad guy killed the professor.
Was that the last issue?
I think that's the last issue, to be honest.
That seems like it was like 3 issues ago because that's how long it's been. For me, in my head, I'm like, oh, no, that was a long time ago. I'm behind on some issues. But if that is the last issue, that's the last one we read and we talked about on the show. That was what, 4 months ago?
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
I am looking forward to this. Like I said, but like we said when we did our top 5 of 2017, if this book came out like it was supposed to every month, this would be number 1, absolutely. But you can't come out twice in a year, 3 times in a year, and expect me to be like, oh yeah, that's one of the best books this year. I don't think it's fair to any other book, and I don't know if it really helps the story at all for me trying to remember what's going on. So it's anything like East to West. It's so complicated that it comes out so often that this is definitely one book that'll read better altogether, I think.
I think this is one of those things that I think after we talk 8, I wouldn't be surprised if 9 doesn't come out until like June. And by then, I don't even know if I want to put it on our list to actually talk about, for the fact that we're not going to remember what the hell we even read.
So, well, depending on how the ending goes.
Yeah. This book is great, looks great, and it's. I still remember issue 3 is one of the best written issues. But like you said, this would be on my list of top 5, but I can't put a book on the list that never shows up. So.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. By the way, in March, we will get issue... Alex, you know why that cover looks old to you? Because it actually is not the real cover. That's the cover for number 5.
I said, this looks like 5, so that's why I'm confused. But okay, that makes sense.
Issue 8 is... There's no other issues solicited past 8, so it's at least not coming out for another 3 months. Number 9. But I guess we'll see. Death of Low, number 1 of 5. This is Justin Jordan, Donnell DeLay. Love Sucks. Phil Harris is going to do something about it after gaining the ability to see Cupid. Is that correct, or did they mess it up? That makes love work after a particularly bad drunken decision. Philo ends up going to war with love itself with a chainsaw. Gary, you talked about you like Justin Jordan. This is new number 1. What are the chances? Do you think you might check this out, or?
I don't think so. I mean, I tend not to get Image minis. There are sometimes I'll break that rule for myself, but typically I can get the trade for $10 when it's done anyways. So, the story is interesting, but not enough to get me to buy it for 5 months. So,
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't notice it was 5 issues. Yeah, so you could just wait for the trade.
I tell you what, that cover though, if it really was just a white cover with the red heart and the art inside, that would pretty much just make me want to get it, because that cover would look great.
Invincible, number 144. We usually don't bring this book up, but Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, Ryan Otley, the series finale, the end of all things. This is the last issue of Invincible altogether. I think Invincible got announced that they're making a movie or a TV show, one of the two. So that's happening, but this is one of the series that has passed me by for the longest time. I think I gave Guest Host 1 the first volume of this, and that's all I've ever read of it, and it was pretty great. So this is something I got to go back and read. Robert Kirkman, we do like him on Walking Dead, and we're looking forward to his next book. So this is a book I might go back and check out. Any interest ever, Garrett? I know you like Robert Kirkman too.
Yeah, I would definitely want to read it someday, but maybe if they had like library editions or I can go on Hoopla or something.
They have the same editions they do for Walking Dead, those big ones.
Okay, yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm sure the third compendium will cover the rest of the story.
Compendium, yes. So, yeah, I think I might get those too, and I'll check them out. It might be like Walking Dead. I'll read them like in 2 seconds. So we'll see. Kick-Ass #1. This is Mark Miller, John Romita Jr., Kick-Ass is back, ready to wipe out the city's criminal lowlifes, destroy its gangs, and save its communities from decay. But there's a new face behind the old mask, a new figure wearing that famous green and yellow spandex. Guest Host 1 is a fan of Kick-Ass. Anybody else going to get this book?
Nope.
I'm just going to read his issue, so.
They have this coming out, and then we have Hit Girls coming out, a new series. The Hit Girl one is being written by who, Garrett?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's Mark Miller.
I thought you told me somebody else is right now. I guess I'll look it up here in a second. But if you look forward to Kick-Ass, if you like those movies like that old series, this would be for you. Kill or Be Killed #16. This is Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, Betty Royster, and colors. We won't tell you where we're at. We don't want any spoilers. But let me just say something about this book. I think we say it each week we review it. And I guess we'll say this week on the show, and I'll say it on the forecast. Because we do know that for some reason these things on Spotify everybody listens to. So it's popular on Spotify. Kill or Be Killed, get that book. It's up to 16. That's what, 2-3 trades? I think the third one just came out 2 issues ago.
About 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Pick up those trades. There's nothing. I mean, if you're not even sure, Hoopla has them all. Go ahead and rent them. Go to your library, get a library card, and rent them. I think it's one of the greatest books coming out right now, and it really deserves more people talking about it. It's going to be a movie, so you want to get on that board. I know some people like when comics get picked up for movies, and then they start reading that series, so better start reading it now. Get caught up. Who's doing that again, Garrett? John Wick? The guy who did John Wick?
See, again, that's something I'm not 100% sure on.
Okay. I think it is.
You're asking me all these questions that I don't. This is so. I think you're right, though. I think you're right. Because we talked about him being able to do that type of caliber of work. So I think it is him.
Okay. Lazarus X plus 66, number 6 of 6. This is the miniseries finale, Once Upon a Time. His name is the Zimne, the Dragon, the Beast. Greg Rucka, Eric Trodman, Tristan Jones, Michael Lark on that cover. Oh, dude, I thought he was holding a skull on that cover, and I just took a closer look. That is a severed head on that cover. This character we met at the end of one of the last arcs of the actual main series.
Number 25.
What do you think, Alex? We're going to meet the Beast, have a whole issue about him. Are you looking forward to this? The story of the dragon.
I think this is the issue that I'm most looking forward to, is about a character that we know very little about and is one of the biggest threats for Forever and the rest of everybody in their world. This is one of those books. What surprises me is that issue 1 through 5 came out almost monthly. It's been, I think, almost 3 months, maybe 2 months since we had the last issue. That the hype for me has built up. I even thought about it last week going, is this book coming out? And just to see it on this week's poll list, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I'm excited for it.
I don't know for sure, but I'm just speculating here. I think that's because they have that source book coming out, and then the series is going to start up again. So they wanted it to come out closer to when those are ready. So I think
I see.
It might have been ready, but I think they delayed it so it could come out this, and then the source book, and then the actual series.
I think next week the source book already comes out too. That Vasilovka.
And then I think the series comes back in April, I think, if I remember correctly. Cool. So we want you got that source book to dig through for a month, and then here we go. We can start with Lazarus again. I do agree with you, Alex. This is like one of the ones when they announced it. One of the ones I'm like, okay, that's going to be good, that issue. And then it turned out the whole series was great. So this one now I was anticipating before this series was so great, and now the series is great. So now this is like, I'm double anticipating this book, and I think it's going to be great. We'll see, though. I mean, can't count your chicks before they hatch, right, Garrett?
That's right. But this May, like, holy shit, here we go.
I know.
Like, this leading into the next arc.
This is almost as exciting for me as Lazarus coming back. Like, I think this, not maybe the same level, but if Lazarus is like for me an excitement of a 10, this is definitely a 9.5.
Yeah.
Rumble number 3, this is John Akuda and David Rubin, Soul Without Pity, Part 3. Alex, how's Rumble been?
You know, I really like Rubin being on this book.
It's definitely, I was just going to say, the style for the old artists had a certain style. Rubin has his own style, but it still fits, I think.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think it was Heron was doing the last art or the last book. It really did look good. He did have his own style. But Rubin's just, I don't know. Maybe it's more of a familiar artist, being he was on Black Hammer, Ether, which is coming back now.
Yep, in May.
So I'm excited for this book. There's almost a no holds barred on how much blood he can put out and who gets killed, and no, that I don't remember what his name is. Rathoff or Rath. The Scarecrow.
Yeah,
he's different than he was in the past.
By the way,
he's kind of dark.
That cover makes me laugh. I don't know why, but it does. Those two guys on the cover.
Yeah.
Any kind of, I guess, like, if you think about it now, those two made me laugh. Who's that guy in I Hate Fairyland? Gert?
Oh, Larry.
So I guess it's just little guys with weird faces.
Big heads.
Youngblood number 9. This is Chad Bowers and Jim Toe. Team Youngblood continues. Garrett Youngblood, how's it going?
It's been awesome. This is the second arc that it's on for the reboot, basically. The last issue, I think I might be one more behind, but at least issue 7 was a completely issue just about
Die Hard,
and it was present in Die Hard, and it was amazing. It was so good. So excited to read 8 and then read 9 because I'm really loving the new team intermixed with the members of the older team. Yeah, it's just fun. It's heroes I don't really know much about, and I'm learning more and more every issue that I read. And Jim Tao's art, like as long as he stays the artist, I'll be getting this book. Chad Bowers, the story is pretty great also, so definitely recommend checking it out, if not getting the first trade and seeing if you like that, and then jumping into the second arc.
Issue 7 was great. Issue 8 was so-so. It was good, but it was one of those things coming off of 7, which was really, really good. I was kind of disappointed.
Really? Bummer.
Yeah. But that's just me. I'm sure you'll read and be like, oh my god, this is the best thing. I don't know if it was just that day I was reading them going, I'm not really digging this.
Well, I love that cover of 9 where she's like punching through the logo almost. It's very cool.
Marvel Comics. Speaking of Marvel Comics, Black Panther comes out tomorrow when you're hearing this. So if you're looking forward to that, let us know. 605-215-1849. Let's get some Black Panther voicemails in. Let us know you're anticipated. Hey, if you go watch it, send them in. I'll include them in the show. What do you think about the movie? No spoilers, by the way. No, keep it. Just give me your rating and what you thought of it. Marvel Comics Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 42. Annual number 42, I guess. Or is this just issue 42?
No, it's annual number 42.
Oh, Dan Slott, David Hine, and Corey Smith on art. Alex, you gonna get this annual?
I don't think so. Just for the fact that it's whoever's picking up the Amazing Spider-Man title after. I don't think I need to get it, but I'm
pretty sure this is tying into Dan Slott's current storyline.
It looks like it's just part of the main story. Like it's just a bigger issue.
So
yeah, I'm looking at the preview. It definitely is part of the story.
I'll look through it, but I read the last Red Threat, the last 2 issues. They were okay. I don't know. Maybe Spider-Man's not as good as I remember him being. So,
you know what? I was looking through that preview art, and nothing to say against Corey Smith. I'm not sure. I've never seen your art before. I'm not sure. But it's not even Corey Smith. I look back at every week this book comes up because I would like to get a Spider-Man book. I used to get Miles Morales, and I dropped that book. I've looked through these previews, and it seems like the art's very static for a Spider-Man book. Like, it's not dynamic, and there's no movement, really. It seems very, boring just to look at. And I think maybe, hopefully, when this new person, whoever it turns out to be, comes aboard, we can go back to, when Todd McFarlane was on the book. If you ever see those pages pop and they move. That's kind of guy Spider-Man should be. When I'm looking at this book, like Alex said, I'm not sure if maybe Spider-Man's not who I thought he used to be. And I actually am not a huge fan of Peter Parker. But I did get Spider-Man for a long, long time when I first started getting comics. When it used to be the Brain Trust, and Mark Waid was on it, Joe Kelly, and we had all these great writers. And it seemed like then, at least, Alex, you've read those issues, like during the Gauntlet and all that stuff. It seemed like then things were exciting, things were moving. Every time I pop out a preview here, it's like pages of people just sitting around talking. And if it is Spider-Man, it's like a static page showing like him jumping around the page, but like the panel itself is static. So like it doesn't really convey movement that well. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of my problem right now with Spider-Man is that I've literally watched Peter die, and yet there's no consequences. Yeah, he can be gone for 17 issues, but he's still always in the issue. That I want it to be make it another Gauntlet and let them beat the shit out of Spider-Man. They don't need to kill him, but there needs to be something risky for him. The only thing that's ever a risk for him is keeping his identity secret, which, no offense, everybody in New York must be stupid. Not in the actual world. In this book, everyone must be stupid. This dude's gone all the time. Peter Parker's always running away. Yeah, and Spider-Man conveniently shows up.
That's something in any kind of superhero stuff, though. I never understood, like, when Superman runs away or Spider-Man runs away, you want to be like, you're never there when actually shit's going down. Like, where do you go? Like, do you go and hide? I guess they have to think he's a coward. But like I said, I look at that art and nothing excites me to pick up the book. I do want to, like, every time I look at that book, I want to pick it up. Even to lead up to what issues did it lead up to? 700?
I believe so, yeah.
I think so. But then I look at something like Sideways, and that art did the exact opposite. Like, that looks like it's moving, it looks fun, and I think that's the kind of thing that Spider-Man should be. So we'll see. I mean, that's coming from somebody who doesn't read that book. That's somebody, but then again, I don't read Sideways either, and that intrigued me by looking at those preview pages. So
yeah, but you've read enough comic books that you know what you're looking for. And you're using one of the biggest characters out there for Marvel. You need to make your book interesting. If you're not doing that, you're not selling the character.
And I read Spider-Man for a long, long time, a couple of years, and then around big time, I jumped off, and then I jumped back on with Superior Spider-Man, and then by the end of that, I was kind of like, well, I see you're going with this. You're going to go back to how things were, so then I jumped off there too. So I think what you're saying is true, Alex. It just keeps going back up, around, and nothing's really happening. Captain America 698. This is Out of Time Part 1. The storyline leading to the massive issue 700 kicks off. Oh, that's why I thought 700. Mark Waid, Chris Samney still on the book. I believe they have extended their stay in that book because people really dig the book. I guess Marvel didn't think people would dig it, but I guess they are. What do you guys think, Captain America? Garrett?
Issue 697 was one of the best Captain America issues I've ever read ever. With Kraven the Hunter, kind of the most dangerous game style. Yeah, it'll be on Catching Up with Garrett episode 2, by the way, whenever that comes up.
Oh yeah, I forgot you said it to me. It'll be up as soon as possible because I forgot about it.
But yeah, 697. Like, I was seriously on the edge of my seat the entire issue because of the stakes they provide in the issue, and then Samney's art obviously was great. Mark Waid's writing. I mean, what a perfect team for this character, and the cliffhanger of last issue, I'm excited to see where it goes next.
This is one of those series that if you are at all interested in Captain America, get in this book. Because it gives you, I mean, it feels like Steve Rogers straight up. There's no question on who this character is, what his motives are. Who he puts first is everyone else other than him. I love this book, and it didn't hurt having Kraven the Hunter in the last issue.
I think just at this point, it just proves that Mark Waid and Chris Samney just work well together. So like anything they do, they did Daredevil, they did Black Widow, and now they're doing this book. Like, that team knows how to tell stories. So I would say you can give them the benefit of the doubt and pick up, like Alex said, just pick it up. It's going to be good. So.
I think the one thing that, if nothing else, you can say for Chris Samney and Mark Waid is that we've already forgotten that this isn't the real Steve Rogers, and we've already forgiven him.
I would say that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that storyline.
Because this book is so good, you're like, that is Steve. So
no, It's Go Steve.
they went directly at it in the first issue.
Until I said something.
No, I'll never forget.
Something I'll never forget is Chris Samney, my number one artist last year. Doctor Strange number 385. This is Donny Cates, Gabrielle Walter, Loki's Sorcerer Supreme Part 5. What's with these long arcs? Part 5? Garrett, Alex, what do you think, Doctor Strange?
I love this arc. This arc could be 5. It can be more than 5 issues. That doesn't bother me. The story has been great. Excuse me. I'm still hurt from 283, where someone passes away. Papa almost teared up and cried. The last issue, I don't remember what happened. Oh, I remember. He isn't he like the god of magic now?
You got her still. The Tree of Life.
I cannot wait to watch Doctor Strange just suplex the shit out of Loki.
Well, that shadow or whatever is let out. The Void.
Oh, that's right.
He's not going to be fighting Loki. He's going to be fighting the Void.
Yeah, the Sentry's back, baby.
That's right.
Oh, the Sentry's back and the Void's back. So
Sentry's been back.
Yeah, I know.
But I forgot that's what was in that closet.
So they're going to join up again. They're going to join up again, and then we'll get the old Sentry back. Where you been, baby? Rob, how you doing? Marvel 2-in-1, number 3. This is Chip Zdarsky, Valera Shitty, and The Fate of the Four, Part 3. 2 things. First off, Garrett, I believe we said in the last we reviewed issue number 2, they kind of undersold this book because they didn't tell you basically it's Fantastic Four. But also, does anybody else think what's the over under how many times somebody's going to be scanning your books and miss that barcode right there, since it's not where all the rest of them are? Do you see that on that cover?
Oh, I'm sure it'll cause a couple confusing shots. It's mixed in with the water there.
I do like that though. Like if it's gonna,
it's pretty funny.
It goes with the cover, so you can do something with it. So, what do you think, Garrett? Looking forward to Marvel 2-in-1 number 3.
Yeah, like I said, we've been wanting a Fantastic Four book, and we're finally getting one. I think what we've said though too is that Marvel's downfall with this book is there's been zero promotion for this comic. There might be an ad or something, but the way they set it up, it's Human Torch and the Thing are going to be doing their own thing. And it's no, not really. This is really heavily in the Fantastic Four lore. So where DC's probably going to get some of those people for the Terrifics, there's people that could stay keeping theirs Marvel but they don't know it because it's like a Fantastic Four book in disguise. So I love it, and I'm super excited for issue 3, and I can't wait to keep reading more issues.
Old man. Go ahead.
Oh, I think this is actually one of those, no pun intended, this is one of those gems that, you said, you got to go looking for it because no one's going to tell you, other than us, the 3 of us saying, go get this book. If you've been missing the Fantastic Four and you want to stay with Marvel, this is your way to do it. You got plenty of Doctor Doom, the Thing, and the Human Torch. They're the family that's left, and I'm hoping we're working our way towards eventually finding Sue and Reed.
Well, maybe Marvel's still pissed at Fox Studios. You never know.
Hey, they might be buying them now, so maybe they're trying to play nice.
True.
Old Man Logan number 35 is Ed Brisson and Abraham Robinson. Moon over Madapore part 2, excuse me. Alex, Old Man Logan, what do you think, number 35?
Hey, I haven't read 34. Garrett, was 34 actually good?
34 was good. Oh, no, I read. I'm all caught up.
Okay.
34 was pretty great.
Okay.
Diodato still on art. I think we find out a certain character from Wolverine's past is a certain... Well, you find out the identity of the Red Samurai. I don't know if it says it in the solicit.
Is it America?
Okay, well, you just spoiled it. So,
but we've known that. We've known who it was for a couple issues.
Yeah, right. But basically,
and I'm not afraid to spoil the forecast for somebody.
All right.
That's what I'm here for.
Even though just a couple issues, whatever you're talking about, you're like, I won't say names. But yeah, basically, she is a Scarlet Samurai, and she's being brainwashed to kill Logan, and Logan's having to fight one of his loves of his life. So it's a lot of good character development and internal struggle that if it was some other person, Like, it wouldn't really be as deep. So I think that this has been a great... I mean, it didn't start out the greatest, but it's ending on a great note, this arc.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's been pretty good. The whole series has been actually fairly decent since Brisson took over. But
I just mean that the second part. That issue
32 was kind of weird. Or 31, whichever one was kind of weak.
Yeah.
So I think I'm one of those books that, it's had bad issues. I don't know if I'm excited to read it. But then again, hearing you say that good things have happened, I'm excited to read it.
Oh, absolutely.
The Punisher 221. This is Matthew Rosenberg. Gio Villanova, Punisher War Machine Part 4. How's this book been? You both are getting it correctly? Correct?
Yep.
How's it been, Garrett?
So great. Where's this book been? It's been coming. The first couple issues came out every other 2 weeks, and now it's taking a little bit of a break, but it's back. So I'm ready for some more. I want to jump back in that Punisher suit and let's keep going. So the end of the last arc, he was sinking in water, and you can already see the preview. Oh God, I'm just looking at the preview right now. It's gonna freaking blow my mind.
I was gonna say that art looks pretty great. Has that been the artist the whole time?
Yep, same artist. So
that's what he fell into the water, didn't he?
Yeah. I think because he was fighting those Manhunt or the other Iron Man suit people, but this is one of the greatest series of Legacy. People didn't know if Punisher in an Iron Man suit would work, but it freaking does, and I can't be more excited than when I pick up this issue. So,
I was an avid. I hated it. I was excited for it, and then when he was in the mech suit and he was just beating the shit out of everybody and no one even caused a threat, I was like, come on. You need to at least have someone to challenge him. And then guess what? Some evil peeps show up to challenge him, and I'm happy. This book is really good, and it's great to see Frank have the suit, but to know that there are other people who aren't afraid to take him on. And so I can't wait to watch the Punisher beat the shit out of them.
Star Wars Darth Vader number 11. This is Charles Soule, Gillespie, Camicoli. An expensive bounty is put on Vader's head. Who would dare to challenge the Dark Lord's place in the Empire? Garrett, how's Darth Vader been? Darth Vader, not Darth Vader.
It's one of the best Star Wars books that's out there right now. The last arc just ended, and this is the start of a new arc. So I love the previous arc. I love the arc before that even. So I'm just, every time I read this, there's just a lot of adrenaline going in the storyline. Because it's canon. Unlike stupid whatever adventures, it doesn't matter.
Hey, let people like what they like.
They can like what they like. It just doesn't exist, so it doesn't matter. And then when you have this, it's building those Darth Vader mythos, because he starts out like I don't really want to do spoilers, but a character calls out Darth Vader and says, hey, just let you guys know, he's telling all the clone troopers, this is Anakin Skywalker. He was a Jedi Knight. So you're trying to kill me, but literally 2 weeks ago, he was a Jedi Knight. So, boom.
What?
So I love that.
Darth Vader is Anakin?
Yeah. Spoilers. 30 years in the making. But great book, great art, great story. Love it.
Garrett, question. Are you a fan of the Fett?
No, I've always been more of a Star Wars fan.
Oh, okay. Star Wars Thrawn number 1. This is Jody Hauser, Luke Ross, one of the cunning and most ruthless warriors in the history of Star Wars universe. Grand Admiral Thrawn is back with a 6-issue miniseries about how he became one of the most feared military tacticians in a galaxy far, far away, written by Jody Hauser and drawn by Luke Ross. This follows the comic adaptation of Timothy Zahn's New York best-selling novel about Thrawn's rise in the Imperial ranks. I told you a couple weeks ago, Garrett, in a chat that I think I'm going to pick this up. I like Jody Hauser. I like Luke Ross. I like both of them. And I do like Thrawn. So this might be my dip back into the Star Wars comics. We'll see.
There you go. See, I don't know anything about Thrawn, so I don't think I'm going to pick it up.
It has a good chance of being good. All the people involved are good. So the only thing it can do is fail. So we'll see. Those are the comics.
The only thing it can do is suck.
Those are the comics for February 14th, 2018. Like I said, it's Valentine's Day. go and get chocolates and get some comics. Make sure you eat them while you read. That's what Alex says. Alex, speaking of you, what comic are you looking forward to the most?
That is tough. I think, in all honesty, the one I'm most excited for is probably Lazarus X+66 number 6.
Yeah, it's a good one. I was looking back at this list. There's a lot of good picks. What about you, Garrett?
I would love to say Dark Knight's Rising Wild Hunt number 1, but I know Grant Morrison's not writing the whole issue, so my actual one I'm looking forward to is Punisher number 221. So excited for that book to come out.
And I will say Wild Hunt. Any Grant Morrison for me is good enough, so his dip back into the DC universe is enough for me to be excited for it. Also, as a runner-up, I think for all of us, Killer Be Kill number 16. But I think that's always like on the list of things we're looking forward to. So, and this Black Monday Murders, I mean, I'll have to remember what's happening, but finally coming out. So those are some books to look forward to this week. I heard, Alex, I know you spent 16 years in a room learning how to read a map.
Of course.
Tomorrow, I think that yellow thing, that sun, might be coming out. What do you think?
Oh, I can tell you what. That sun will be coming out tomorrow. You're going to have like 40-degree days, if not warmer. Break out the shorts, break out the tank tops, get that mini pool out, crack some beers, drink them outside. Do what we do in the Midwest. Party when it's above zero. So that's what we're going to do. Also, spend some time with your loved ones. Drink some beers with them, too.
Alex, you think part of the reason why it's going to be so nice tomorrow that it's Valentine's Day? Maybe Cupid's helping out?
I think Cupid has been busy skipping over Garrett and was like, hey, son, let's get some hotness going on. Let's get some warmth. Let's get some bikinis worn by people. Screw Garrett.
Garrett, you don't got to take that kind of abuse. I know tomorrow I'll be outside the shop. You might beat him up. So I'll look forward to that video. Garrett, how the road's looking tomorrow?
Well, just like Alex says, me and Cupid are best friends, so my car is going to dip off the interstate probably on the way to the shop. But everybody else, I'd get there early. There's a lot of comics coming out tomorrow, a lot of high quality issues. So it's rare to have a week that's full, but not only full, but has a lot of great picks. So definitely get to your shop early. You'll get there before me. If you see a guy in the ditch with 2 legs missing and like only one hand, that's me. So help a brother out.
Only one hand, so you got another hand. You can still read comic books then.
That's right. But of course, it'll be my left hand. If it was my right, I mean, I'd be happy. So it'd be uncommon.
Like I said, Valentine's Day tomorrow. Like Alex said, spend it with your loved ones, and our loved ones are comic books. I'm just kidding. We have other ones. Here's the thing about Valentine's Day. You remember last week I told you about Tibet Tom and I told you about Detroit Dan? Let me tell you another story. I'm in Italy, the city of love. I'm in Rome. I'm in there.
France. Paris.
No, you don't understand. Listen to the story first before you judge. I'm in the city of love. That's what they used to call it back in the day. I'm in that city. I'm having a nice spaghetti. I'm having a nice meatball. I'm having a nice. We're gonna get cannolis afterwards. And this guy walks up to me and he says, "You know what? I'll tell you what." He goes, "I got one arrow to use. Do you want to use it?" And first off, I don't know. This guy's gonna kill somebody or something. I don't know. And then he winks and says, "My name's Cupid." And I said, "Okay. One day you save that arrow, and some guy's gonna be coming down the interstate. You shoot him in the head, and then that's what happens. And that's what happens to Garrett tomorrow. So, like, Garrett, I'm just giving you that the 401 on that guy." I did call it because he'd asked me what to do with that arrow, and I told him what to do. Sorry, I can't really think on the spot. That's what happened.
So wait a sec. You're the reason I veer off the interstate into a ditch?
This is my confession on.
So I finally
Valentine's
get shot
Day.
by Cupid, but then I die in the process. Nice. That makes sense.
You know, they
That'd be
say
about right.
they say love at first sight. You're love at last sight. So that's what happened there. For Wednesday Comics, I've been Marvin.
Hey, everyone. I'm Alex.
And I'm Garrett. See you never.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Have a good Valentine's Day and keep reading those books.